Burns seized every opportunity to mingle with the upper echelons of society, those who might help him or be in a position to buy his book. He was already a Freemason from his days in Ayrshire, and shortly after arriving in Edinburgh, he was taken up by a coterie of leading men who were also Freemasons. From them he received an accolade that overwhelmed him, taking up his appointment as Caledonia's Bard.
Yes, by all means, come in, please.
I went to a Mason lodge yesternight, where the most worshipful master, among other general toasts, gave Caledonia and Caledonia's Bard, Brother Burns, which rang through the whole assembly with multiple honours and repeated acclamations. As I had no idea such a thing would happen, I was downright thunderstruck, and trembling in every nerve made the best return in my power.
They seem to find in Burns here, among his Masonic brethren, a man that they really wanted to believe in. They really wanted to push him forward to some extent, didn't they?
Well, absolutely. Like the Kilmarnock edition, if you look at the list of subscribers to the Edinburgh edition, a very large number of them are Freemasons. And in fact, lodges bought his book in bulk.
The Masonic temperament, if you like, was quite close to him. He felt it was important. Why do you think that was?
Well, probably simply because everybody's equal. There are people who are just ordinary men meeting, as we say in Freemasonry, on the level. So everyone's equal.
Is that how it's said, on the level?
Yes.
The rank is but a guinea stamp. The man's the gowd for all that.
Would you show me through?
Certainly, yes. Come this way.
Wow.
So it has an atmosphere all of its own. Say a purpose-built building, purpose-built lodge building,
yeah.
And the oldest in the world. We know that Burns was definitely in this room on the 1st of February 1787.
This exact spot here?
Yes, I mean he was recorded by the lodge secretary as being a visitor to the lodge. He's named. They didn't name every visitor. But Burns was, of course, famous, and so...
So where would he have stood?
He could sit really anywhere he liked. Again, because we're all on the level within Freemasonry, there is no specific place except for the people who are performing, if you like, the actors, and they have specific...
Burns loved equality. And it occurs to me that the brotherly atmosphere he enjoyed in these secret rooms may have played into his true values as a writer. You're putting me in mind of something I haven't really thought about before in relation to Burns, is that some of that levelling, it's very much there in the work and there in his character, chimes with Freemasonry as you describe it. A sense of the high Hegians and the lower orders coming into a common space.
Exactly. And that, again, is typical of Scottish...
One of Burns's fellow Masons, one of Scotland's most eminent men, in fact, Lord Glencairn, certainly pulled some Masonic strings for Caledonia's Bard. He persuaded all 100 members of his other elite club, the Caledonia Hunt, to subscribe to the new print run en masse. The literati, the aristocracy, the Masons... Edinburgh had taken up Robert Burns in a way he could never have expected when he set out from Ayrshire. Burns was now an official national curiosity, and people all over the place wanted to see what the rustic genius looked like. So what was still missing? Yes, a portrait. Today we're very familiar with the process of fame building, but Robert Burns in his own day was completely familiar with it too. He built a celebrity image for himself, and an important element in that, perhaps the most important element, was to have a great portrait. And this is it, the Naismith portrait of Burns, which was famous in his own day through reproductions, but in all the years since then has become the garlanding image on 1 million shortbread tins. Sitting for a portrait was only for the elite, but this wasn't to be the only portrait Burns would have done in Edinburgh.
My honoured friend, I will soon be with you in good black print. I am getting my phiz done by an eminent engraver, and will appear like all other fools, looking to my title page.
John Bugo, Edinburgh's leading engraver, also went to work on Burns's face, creating a timeless image of a strikingly handsome Burns at the very height of his fame. With this image and its inside cover, the package for the new print run of his poems was complete. Close observers could have asked, as I do myself, where the radical Burns is in all this excellent self-promotion. I see a poet ever ready to greet his applause, but what about his strongest feelings regarding church hypocrisy and political compromise? He did write some new poems in Edinburgh, but it was almost as if he was trying too hard to please his hosts.
Fair for your honest sonsy face, great chieftain o' the puddin' race, aboon them all they tak their place, pinch, tripe or thirl. Weel are they worthy o' a grace, as lions may yell. The groaning trencher there ye fill, your hurdies like a distant hill. Your pen would help to mend the mill in time o' need, while through your pores the dews distill like amber beat.
His knife, see rustic labour dicht, and cut ye up wi' ready slicht, trenching your gushing entrails brich like ony ditch. And then, oh, what a glorious sight, warm, reeking, rich.
At the moment of his greatest visibility, he could have created a platform for protest, but he didn't. He gave the people a colourful and cheerful piece of whimsy, a poem about a simple national dish.
Sorry, we've no whiskey.
No, we were just talking about that. Keith's a Glava man.
Is he?
Yeah.
I think whiskey should be drunk before or after, but not with. You can't taste the haggis and you can't appreciate the whiskey. Yeah. That's my view.
People who were feeling critical of Burns might say that he lent his name too easily to the promotion of national mythology and a sense of Scotland. I wonder if he wanted to see himself as the Caledonian bard, and having a national dish to promote must have helped his sense of that.
But did people think of it as a national dish before he wrote that? I think it suited him because it was humble, and I think he could see that it summed up Scotland's personality. But I don't know if anyone would have ever thought to have written a poem about it before, and I think maybe that's why it was so striking. He just notices things, but he notices timeless things, and that's another reason why I think we still bother to talk about him today. I think the other point to make is Burns Night is secular. There's no religion. I'm going to sound like John Lennon now, but but I think that's
that's possibly the first time in history where John Lennon and his aesthetic has been linked to haggis.
Why not?
The second edition of the book was a huge success. He knew how the public saw him, and he gave them what they wanted. He'd raised enough subscriptions to make several years of wages in pure profit. Edinburgh, the Athens of the North, was heroically conquered. Then he sold away the rights to the poems, and from that moment on, he wouldn't make another penny from them. But getting any of the money his publisher Creech owed him wouldn't be easy, so Burns fell back on his usual enjoyments. He had affairs with women of all classes and took up with a notorious drinking club, a group of Edinburgh grandees and self-styled wits, the Crocallan Fencibles.
Have you still got your facsimile skull of Burns?
Oh, bugger, we've got skull.
Oh,
where is it? It's in the house.
You left the skull at home. There's one
the cast.
This group meets to keep the spirit of that particular episode in Burns's life alive. They've invited me to one of their dinners in the officers' mess at Edinburgh Castle. Welcome. Welcome. Good evening, gentlemen.
Take a seat.
Thank you so much.
We're about to launch into a small passage from the libel summons. Before
we do that, would you like a glass?
I would love one, thank you.
Yeah.